I've been given my new uniform with the 42nd. Retired that old blues of the 25th. At least at St. Simon's it's more of a breeze. The boys in Frederica complain all the time. War had been declared. I knew my chance for adventure had come. And Mr. Oglethorpe, he planned an attack just 3 years ago upon the Spanish. And he took almost every one of the companies and every one of the platoons from the regiment, except for mine. Adventure had perhaps passed me over. So while they were attacking St. Augustine, guess what I was doing? Perhaps I shouldn't look so badly upon my time there. The word of what happened down there was terrible. Many of the people in my regiment were killed. Many more of those Scots were killed. The South Carolinians weren't there for us. The Royal Navy abandoned us. And so Mr. Oglethorpe, he marched. And I feel guilty about this next thought, but I knew, well, my adventure is going to come now, because the Spaniards are going to return the favor. Just a little less than a year ago it happened. I was standing on guard down at St. Simon's. We knew the Spaniards had a flotilla and that they were moving up towards us. And Mr. Oglethorpe, he rushes down, and he gets us all set up as we could. He gets the sailors out in the ships. He has us in the pits. He has the cannons up and ready. And I shouldn't say this. It hurts my pride to say it, but 52 of those ships sailed right past the guns of St. Simon's as we fired at them, and it didn't stop them one bit. Not much of an adventure for me, really. Because Mr. Oglethorpe, he pulls us and he takes us out and he marched us up to Frederica. And then, word that the Spaniards, the next morning, they were marching up, and they were stopped in the woods. So I thought, good, here it is. The English Rangers and Creek Indians have stopped them in the woods, and Mr. Oglethorpe doesn't take us. No redcoats at that battle. The Battle of Gully Hole Creek is over very quickly. But then General Oglethorpe calls for the soldiers. He grabs 3 platoons of us. My platoon, never having seen action before, very thrilled. And we rush down here. You can see how the road extends over the marsh. On one side of the road, he put the Scots. On the other side, he put us, and he had us all hidden there best we could. We took palmetto leaves, we hid behind them, and we waited. I shouldn't impugn the general this way, but he did something mighty curious. He looked around, and some said that he told Mackay that looks like we're greatly outnumbered, we need more soldiers, and instead of sending someone else back, he went himself. Fine thing as you're hiding there in the woods and your commander leaves. We were told to wait until the Spanish started to come across. And we waited. And we were told to wait until the Spanish started to come across. And we waited, and we waited on that signal. We fired. Quite a rush at the beginning of my adventure. And then something that I'd never seen happen to me before happened. I drilled thousands of times, and for the first time, musket balls started coming back. They make a really distinctive sound as they pass over your head and past your ear. I saw it happen off to my left somewhere. And as soon as one broke, many did. I'd like to tell you that I was one of the soldiers who stood my ground a year ago. In all the confusion, it just started to rain and the smoke. Well, I wasn't in the front of the pack, but I was there with them. And as we approached up, General Oglethorpe was riding back down by horse, and I heard him say, "All's lost. Lieutenant Sutherland's dead. They've spotted him." And General Oglethorpe did something most curious again. He got us to stop, and he said, "Wait, boys, can you hear it? Can you not hear it?" And you could hear the muskets still firing. There's no way they could all be killed at that point if they're still firing back. And he got us turned back around, all except for one captain, and he, well, they're still waiting to see what will happen to him. But we got back down here and saw that the Spaniards were just leaving. Lieutenant Sutherland's platoon had held their ground. The Scots had held their ground in the creeks. Then Mr. Oglethorpe decided to march us across this marsh. And after seeing what had happened, there were Spaniards dead out there in he marched us across. Scary thing that was. And he got us around the camps that night, and he had us stay there overnight outside the Spanish lines. And then he began to realize, being a good officer that he is, he began to realize we needed rest. So he marched us all the way back up the island to get some rest. As we marched back in, I was feeling quite bad about the day before. But there were people up in the town site there cheering us on. They probably didn't care which of us ran, which didn't. Just knew that soldiers had saved themselves, or saved their lives that day. Something I'll never live down, perhaps. But as we marched into the town, I felt quite good in some ways. Knowing that whether or not it was perfect or not, but we'd saved Frederica. Well, now there's rumors that maybe we're no longer necessary. In fact, I fear for your tavern in the future if there's no soldiers here at Frederica. Now, but only time will tell. I'm not sure why I stopped to tell you my story. I know that the lieutenant's probably expecting me very quickly down there at St. Simon's, so I should go, but it's good to see more people move into Frederica. Perhaps even if the soldiers leave, if there's enough of you, you can make it. We'll see.